Where was Japan's first national park? Where was Japan's first public golf course? And where was Japan's first summer resort for foreigners? I'll show you in this episode of Nick no Kyushu Tabi. Perched 700 meters above sea level, up a steep and winding road, lies the onsen town of Unzen in Nagasaki Prefecture, a favorite summer getaway for tourists from overseas for 150 years. In 1870, a trekking ban for foreigners was lifted, and small numbers of Westerners living in Kyushu began exploring the area. The gorgeous panoramic views of the Shimabara Peninsula are still irresistible. At this altitude, it's at least 5 degrees cooler than sea level, making it an ideal place to escape the summer heat. The hills, lakes, and forests appeal to Westerners, reminding them of vacation areas back home. Word of this beautiful area spread to foreign nationals living in Shanghai who traveled by ship via Nagasaki. They would vacation for weeks, even months in Unzen. They played golf, rode horses, practiced archery, played billiards, swam in the lakes, hiked, enjoyed garden parties, and ballroom dancing. Unzen was at the forefront of international inbound travel in Japan. In 1913, Japan's first public golf course was built here. Tennis was popular too, and the locals still play. And in 1934, Unzen was designated as Japan's first national park. As a result, guidelines to protect the aesthetic appeal of the town were introduced. And still today, most buildings have white walls and orange roofs. We began our walk inside the hells of Unzen Onsen. There's bubbling, boiling, geothermal waters bubbling up here. It's a volcano. We're on a volcano. And this place, I kind of think that it's one of the first international resorts, if you will, in all of Japan, not just Kyushu. So we visited a nearby museum, which has an impressive collection of photographs showing Westerners vacationing in Unzen for over 100 years. But even more surprising was this. It's a chair on two beams, two poles. In the late 19th century, there weren't roads or cars, so everyone came up by foot, or maybe by ox or horse cart. Back outside, we walked by Green Terrace, a restaurant on the grounds of one of the first hotels to cater to Western tourists. Yesterday, the chef prepared yofudon, a dish that he imagines was created for Westerners in the early 1900s. And yes, it was tasty. We continued our walk through the hells, getting so close we could hear and smell the erupting gases. I mentioned it was hot enough to boil a person to death. Well, that actually happened, and here's a monument to explain it. So, the Christians didn't come here to practice, per se, here in Unzen. This area of Unzen actually was a very important place for Buddhist priests and temples. There are lots of temples here because, I guess, aesthetic practices. And yeah, I mean, look, how much closer to hell and heaven can you get? Unzen is a lovely town to stroll around. We stumbled across a tea shop and headed in.
Konnichiwa.
The shop owner sells tea grown in Unzen. This was once a photographer's studio and now displays nostalgic items such as photos of tourists taken long ago. A few doors down was an old-fashioned toy and candy shop. And as we found out, it's not just for kids.
昔のね、
何これ？
アクター&アクトレス。
ねえ、知ってる人いる？
いるよ、みんな知ってるわよ。
みんな知ってるよね。見つけた。
このちょっとエッチなアイテムが昔からあるんですよ。
But these are ear cleaners, and they're in the shape of women.
してるから
なんだそれ。
So let's explain.
残
This
念
is
ながら。
あった Found some of this lemonade. Boom! There it is. さあ This is local Unzen lemonade. This is it. Highly carbonated.
あ、
Very
そう。
bubbly. Very bubbly and quite sweet.
で、こ
Hang
れ
in
も
for
言わ
that.
ない？
Yes, of course I want to eat that. Let's give it a bite here.
書いてあった。はいはいはい。見て。
カリカリ.
In 2021, a new park with a lookout was opened. You can see Furuyu, the older section of town, still with the white walls and red roofs. And the hills where we walked earlier.
に、
Yes.
あとこっちが見えたらもっとすごいよ。
もっとすごい。何が見える？
見えるかな？
何が見える？じゃあ、本当だ。いや、これはすごい。
Wow, we could see the sea and all the way to Amakusa, Kumamoto. Did the foreigners who vacationed here 100 years ago enjoy similar views? We don't know, but we know many stayed at this hotel.
This is one of the registered classic hotels in Japan. This is a Western style built hotel from 1935. Gorgeous inside, huge high ceilings, big bedrooms. Unzen Kanko Hotel. Beautiful hotel. What's good to eat in Unzen?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. People are going, potatoes. In this area, this Shimabara Peninsula is very famous for potatoes all over Japan, only second to Hokkaido. That was Unzen. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like the video. Join us on our next Kyushu live. All right, see you guys.
バイバイ。
カラちゃん、ニックの九州旅で雲仙に来ました。